Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Haber family. We started learning yesterday about the Kashrus of medicine. And brief recap is that if something is not any longer royal achila, so it's mutter deraisa. That's the mideraisa, something is not royal achila, and the words of the Gemara. Anything you wouldn't give to your non-Jewish neighbor as a gift is mutter ba'achila midaraisa. The Rambam comes along and says, but it's aser midarabanan. It's pater. It's aser midarabanan, and that's how the Shulchan Aruch paskins. So it comes out that something that's not royal achila is aser midarabanan, which, even though it's treif, the Rema says as follows. The Rema says, mutter lisraif sheretz. I'm not familiar with this kind of medicine. Mutter lisraif sheretz. You can take a creepy, crawly creature and burn it up, barbecue. Oh, shar davar isur la'achlai l'refuah. So the Rama, you're allowed to use that for a refuah. Afilu chayla she'ein by sakanah. This is a very important Rama. So the Rama says that you could take this sheretz, you can obliterate it with fire, and you can eat it if it's a refuah. So we see here that even though the Rambam says, and the Rama doesn't disagree with us, even though the Rambam says that there's an isur d'Rabbanan to eat food which is no longer edible, a treif food that's no longer edible, nevertheless for a choleh it's mutter. The question is, why is it mutter? What's the point of its isur? And here we spoke yesterday about a concept called אחשביה. So אחשביה means that even if something is no longer edible, we spoke about gelatin, which takes animal gelatin, bone marrow, whatever they use, and makes it into an inedible product, or rennet that they put in cheese. It's completely inedible. You take a teaspoon of rennet, you're dead. There's no way to eat rennet. There's all kinds of things that are inedible. Nevertheless, they recover it and make it edible again. And the question is that called treif food or not? So yesterday we spoke about the Gemara and the Halacha that learns about אחשביה. אחשביה means that we see this from Kachim and from Tyrus, that if I consider something to be food again, even though it wasn't food, but I'm considering it to be food, now it went from an inedible animal bone marrow to jello, or something geschmack. So the אחשביה makes it back into food. That's the halacha. אחשביה, lashon choshev. Like I'm considering it food, so it's food. It's the power of the mind. So all those things may be aser because of axhaveh, may not be. This is a big machlokus of the early Rabbanut of America, as I mentioned yesterday. But when it comes to a choleh, so here the Achrayim say that there is no axhaveh. What does it mean there is no axhaveh? Because if somebody is a choleh and they're taking some kind of a medicine, a burnt sheretz, it's not that they're reconsidering the sheretz. I wouldn't eat it because it's treif, but now I'm reconsidering it. It's not food, but I'm reconsidering to eat it. They're eating it even though it's not food. So there's no achsheveh on something which is not meant to create food value. It just has some kind of a power of the bria to heal you. So therefore, Rabbi Shaul mentioned this, chemotherapy. So chemotherapy is absolute poison. Nobody's going to have it for breakfast, chemotherapy. But it's not considered, there's no achsheveh on it because a choleh doesn't go through this achsheveh process to make it into food. And therefore, the Achrayim explained, the Rama says that this is mutter. Here in Eretz Yisrael, by the way, just a yediyah, any medicine that's in the kupat cholim, that's in the sal of refuah, sal hatrufot of the kupat cholim, any of the kupat cholims, the Rabbanut says doesn't need a hechsher. They don't require anything which is alternative, vitamins, supplements, that type of a thing, needs a hechsher. That's what the Rabbanut says. So if it's in if you want a hechsher on your antibiotics, it doesn't have a hechsher. There's no requirement. Might have a hechsher, but there's no requirement from the Rabbanut HaRashit to have a hechsher. So look, not talking about Pesach. Pesach is a whole different story. That's a whole different story. Thank you for mentioning that. That doesn't apply to this. The Rama goes further, and I want to finish these sentences. V'chol choleh. Anytime a choleh is machilin iser, is eating an iser. So let's say your the gel cap on your Tylenol. That's medicinal probably. Tzrichin shetahei, is that in the sal hatrufot? It is, yeah. So kol choleh shemachilin iser tzrichin shetahei is very important. Tzrichin shetahei harufua yodua. It has to be something which is known to be a medicine. O al pi mumcha. Ve'ein matirin shum davar iser l'choyle im yucholasis harufua beheter. But the Rama here is putting in a caveat that it's not some type of a snake oil situation here where somebody says that it's l'rufua. By the way, I heard snake oil actually is a refuah. The problem with snake oil sellers is they say it's snake oil and it's not. That's what I heard. But in the vernacular, the Rama says it only works for refuah yadua. Hence the Rabbanut, I go back to the Rabbanut, and they say, well, if it's in the sal hatrufot, that's refuah yadua. If it's not sal trufot, it's not refuah yadua, and therefore you need a hechsher on it. That's the that's what's learned from this Rama, halacha l'maisa. So anything that you get as a prescription, what we do have down clear here, anything you get down as a prescription, you don't have to worry about it. I think the Rabbanut is correct. Rabbi says the same thing. All the poskim say the same thing. That's not. There's no אחשביה. The Chazon Ish says the same thing. There's no אחשביה, and therefore it's muter b'achila. Anything which is not in the sal hatrufot, it's not a clear medicine. So now you have to think about it. Is it merapiyu? But then there's a whole other category: vitamins, supplements. They're not even meant to be merapiyu per se. These are just like food things. For instance, the Mishnah Berurah says that you're allowed to take these on Shabbos because it's not medicine. It's mychobrium, a vitamin. Talks about something about like a vitamin. It's so you take a vitamin C. So it's mychobrium. Instead of eating 10 oranges, you have a vitamin C pill. But that's not even a medicine to begin with. Once it's not a medicine, so you fall out of this heter of the Rama, which tells you that it's only mutter. The most it's going to be is it is a d'Rabbanan. For sure, it's going to be an Isser d'Rabbanan, and then that goes with its halachas. But a choleh is mutter and an Isser d'Rabbanan if it's because it's not achshebya. But if it's vitamin C, let's say, it might be achshebya, and therefore might be usher. So halacha l'maisa. Let me just say this in a sentence: any medicine that you get on a prescription should not be a problem at all. If you're taking something else, which is very popular today, supplements, vitamins, all that type of stuff. So, and there are ones that are halachics. There are ones that have a lot of gelatin in it. They have a lot of treif in it. But you could also get almost all of those things on which are completely vegetable. And once it's completely vegetable, you're a lot better. So on those things that are not in the sala trufot to the Rabbanut, probably be makbid to try to make sure that it's kosher.